This video was supposed to be about how to build a bot and an AI strategy. But during my research, I found something: most bots suck. But don't take my word for it. In this video, we'll take a look at what markets and research say about it and some ideas on how to make a bot suck less. Most of us have used chatbots at some point, sometimes even without knowing it. And research tells us that most of us have had disappointing experiences with them. And voice and text interactions are the worst in this list. A research with more than 500 participants done by CGS found that digital channels are popular. However, people are not willing to sacrifice quality for speed. The research confirms that overall, we still prefer human agents to chatbots. And a whole new generation of bots are skipping this crucial gap and instead are pushing the envelope to incorporate voice. The problem here is how these two virtual environments are built can be completely different from each other. In principle, a voice bot should not use the same paradigms of a text bot. They do have important design differences, and recognizing this is a good place where a good solution should start. Another big problem is what the market calls a bot. By calling them smart assistants, the word smart sets already high expectation from the get-go. Many companies can create smart assistants, but that's not the rule. Let me illustrate this for you. The first time someone interacts with a smart assistant and the bot asks, "How can I help you?" It gives you a great feeling. Subconsciously, it looks like we have a good engagement, chatty, agile, and ready to tackle my questions. But when we ask a bot about something and it replies, "Sorry, I can help you," with all the expectations we set come crashing down. Actually, most chatbots disappoint here because they just cannot address a broad range of questions. Instead, bots are very good at a very narrow area. That's the first problem: over-promising and under-delivering. This causes a domino effect of unfulfilled expectations. A research done by Forrester concluded that while RPA has reduced headcount in the back office, that's not being followed by customer service or sales. They concluded that the majority of chatbot deployments will provide poor escalation paths for them. What might be the root of this problem? There is a strong case here that they are both in the bot design and their capabilities. Many of the current bots are still not designed by people with people in mind in the user experience. Chatbots are often an IT project driven by techies, and these projects unfortunately lack true AI or bot designers. If a chatbot is built only or mostly by developers and little effort is spent in the designing of the experience, chances are the end result will miss the mark. Now, let's think about this together. If you are building a conversational bot, the data needed to build this is human language. And human language is hard, complicated, full of nuance, tone, subtleties. And these are areas where developers traditionally are not experts. This is a psychology domain. Just like we would not ask people with psychology background to write code, it is not reasonable or fair to expect that developers should come up with linguistic that a conversational bot needs. But is it possible to design a conversation? Research says yes. There is a knowledge domain called conversational design, and a lot of pure design disciplines are applied here, such as discovery, research, ideation, etc. A classic case would be what your bot should even do, which is basically deciding the scope of the bot. Scoping is a classic design technique, but a lot of companies create bots just to relieve people from their typing work and to say, we have a bot, which goes against the idea of scope control. A typical example of this is making a bot that finds answers from a transcript of a service desk call, which, by the way, and to be fair, I think is absolutely okay and valid, but finding the intent is a much harder proposition. What are the user's intentions? What do they want to do? What are their pain points that makes them chat with a bot? I mean, if someone is planning to build a bot, these are the questions to answer. Another aspect often overlooked is the conversation flow. This is when you see a bot replying with, "Sorry, I do not understand," to questions. The same research done by CGS found that a break in the flow makes people give up bot interactions, either because they take too long to respond, the bot did not understand the question, or the conversation feels impersonal. Basically, the user found a gap that the bot cannot handle. Instead, what a good conversation design should do is to trigger a self-healing pattern, a conversation repair. For example, someone asks me, "Where is the closest bike shop in Sydney CBD?" If I didn't know, I would not reply, "Sorry, I do not understand your question." Instead, I will find out what part of your question I do not know, which means your question broke my flow. And I will ask you back about, do you mean bike as in motorbikes or do you mean bike as in bicycles? And then maybe even come up with a few suggestions, a few options, which means I'm healing the broken flow. From a solutions architecture aspect, that's a crucial point that many bots miss because we're not designed for it. And how about AI? Can AI help with self-healing? Are chatbots and AI the same thing? A chatbot can be done entirely using zero AI. Likewise, you can incorporate AI into a bot to make it better. However, the best way for your bot journey is to start with zero AI. AI is a complex thing. Even specialized AI companies will tell you that most teams out there simply are not mature enough to grasp AI or what it really means. So, the best way to start your bot is to create deterministic bots from set rules in a deterministic tree. These are your baby steps. Then in the future you can incorporate AI, machine learning, etc. Talking to psychologists, they will tell you that people naturally have a hard time to deal with things that are not deterministic. Those things where you cannot predict what the bot will say next. A weird experience demonstrating that was the Microsoft Take Day bot. Now imagine this situation in a highly regulated industry like healthcare or finance. Like we saw, AI is hard. No way about it. And what about personality? Can we design personality? Personality is important. And the sweet spot here is to make the bot just human enough. Not close to 100% because that would be an android. And make sure it is aligned with a corporate identity. Now, this is a very important topic because nobody assigns personality to buttons, to dashboards, to text boxes. But because a bot wants to use natural language, which is one of the most exclusive human aspects of language, the users will make up and assign a personality to the bot regardless. So, when we build a bot, we need to be intentional about personality. Another big thing on the personality topic is expression. How will a bot express? Things like word choice, communication style, cadence. Especially nowadays, where language can serve to identity and inclusion causes. If you're going down this path, it does make sense to have a professional writer helping the bot scripts. Obviously, voice bots go to the next level because we need to think about pitch, intonation, cadence, etc. A survey done by Accenture Research showed that before the conversation starts, more than 70% of the people wants the bot to introduce itself, and almost 80% wants to know what the chatbot can help them with. Personality and intention matters. And to close the personality topic, should we name a bot? The verdict are not clear here, to be honest, and I could not find too much research or study on this topic. But one thing is interesting, of all the bots that we know and we see out there in the wild, they all have a name with feminine aspects, with feminine characteristics. Whatever is your view on this topic, if you don't know where you are on this, just pick a neutral name. Either way, again, be intentional. Otherwise, the users will decide that for you. So, conclusions. In a bot strategy, in your bot journey, we need to think about intent, about the scope of what the bot should do and should not do. Some things are still better dealt with humans, and even though current technology could do it, it doesn't mean that it should do it. And while most current bots are in their infancy and suck, to be honest, there is a solid economic and financial evidence showing us the future looks pretty bright. Bots and AI are coming back strong. For the first time in 2020, mid to late stage deals accounted for half of all deals in this space, suggesting that the technology and companies are maturing and investing on this topic. And the COVID pandemic has helped accelerate this shift. So, if you are in the AI bot space, you have your work cut out for you, and there is a lot to explore. If you're not, you can sleep well tonight knowing that we have top people working on it. Either way, like I said, and like the market research says, the future in this space looks brilliant.